Hey guys, it's me, Zap, once again, and I've got another build video. Talking about some builds that you can do. And I take a lot of pleasure in this. I like, finding them parts to fit into that budget, to help people. And to mostly give some advice for people, that want to build stuff. I get asked all the time, does this work with this, or what should I do for this? And so I figured, make these build videos and help some people out. And the videos I'm doing, like I said, I did a 700 one last night, but I went over, or it's 750, and I think I went over. And I'm doing $1,000 video today, and I'm right at the mark. And then I'm gonna do a $1,500 one, and I think that's about as high as I'm gonna go, because after you hit about 15, you start getting diminishing returns, and your price to performance goes down. And this one that I'm giving you right now it's a good PC. I mean, I would use it, but it doesn't include an SSD, and that's something that I like to have personally. I love having an SSD. I've got one in my machine, and it's one of them things that if you have a certain budget, say the one I built was at a $1,300 budget. So I cut corners on the video card so I could get an SSD. And I got a good video card. It's one of the better ones at the time whenever I built the machine. For price to performance, the 7870 Hawk is nothing to sneeze about. It's a very capable and performing graphics card. And soon after it, the 7870 XT and LE launched, and those are right at the range of a 7950. So that kind of screwed me up on that one. Sorry. So this video though, we're gonna look at some pretty decent stuff. So for the processor, we're gonna use the 4670K. That's right. I think at $1,000, you should be able to do some overclocking. Maybe not at 750 unless you're doing an AMD rig. But especially if you're building an Intel rig at $1,000, you should be able to do some overclocking. So we're going with the 4670K. You can probably push it 4.2, 4.4, maybe. You gotta play the silicon lottery. So we got that. And then on the board, we're gonna use the Gigabyte GAD80 or Z87 D3 HP. It's an 1150 socket board, and it's part of their ultra durable ones, I guess. Ultra durable 3 or something. And it got really high reviews on Newegg, and Gigabyte makes good stuff. So these two should complement each other, be able to get some fairly decent overclocks. The only thing is had to make some cuts on a cooler to be able to get some other parts to go in. So it's going to be an air cooler. So I'll go ahead. It's the Hyper 212 Plus, and you can probably get 4 gigahertz, 4.2 on it. Maybe the Haswell and Ivy Bridge chips get really, really hot. I had a Sandy Bridge at 4.4 on a Hyper 212 Plus and was staying under 50 degrees. But those were like the perfect overclocking chips. Those things were excellent. I'm not a big fan of the new stuff. So on we go. So I named the cooler. For the RAM, we're going to use G-Skill Sniper 8 gig, and that's going to be 2133 megahertz. And the reason I went for such a high megahertz RAM is it has a pretty low cassette rating at 9 or 10. It's at 10. But the new Haswell chips can really handle the overclocked memory. So 2133 should be no problem in getting. And you can RAM's pretty much the same price now. It doesn't matter if you get 1333 or 2133. It's pretty much all the same price for 8 gig. So, and then we're gonna have to get just a 500 gig Seagate Barracuda HD hard drive, and that's one of the cuts that you have to make, I guess, if you want to get a quad core and stuff. So I know a lot of people are Intel, gotta get that i5, but there is a lot of room to upgrade with this. and I made sure that that's have the upgradability. So if you ever wanted to add another hard drive or an SSD, there's room to do so. So I got that 500 gig. For the case, we're going to use the Core Master half 912. This is a very plain case, but very functional case. I have done 3 builds in a half 912. My current build's in a half 912, but I've done 3 builds. I've done an AMD build with the Hyper 212 Evo and a 7770 gigahertz edition for my brother, and I have done a personal rig that I had an i5 2500K at 4.4 with the Hyper 212, and I had it running Crossfire 6950s. Yeah, back in the day of the 6950, I had 2 of them, and so it's a very capable case. Keeps everything nice and cool. It does look pretty cool too, but like I said, it's very plain but very functional, and that's really something you want to look at. And for the video card, I hate to do this again, but it fit into the price range, and it beats a 7950. That's what I was looking at. Originally it was a 7950, but it beats a 7950 and a 660 Ti, and that is the EVGA Superclocked 760 with the ACX cooling. And I know the previous video, the 750 video, had a 760 in it too. But right now, there's nothing really in between the gap of a 760 or a 770, that would fall into the $1,000 price range unless you made some major cuts in, the motherboard and stuff. So, there's just nothing that fits in. It pretty much goes 760, which beats the 7950, straight to the 770. Or the 770. Or, the 7970 is good too, but it's the same price as the 770, so they're still up there at the $400 range, and it's $150 higher. So that's why, I'm using the 760 again. And for the power supply, I'm going to use the Corsair HX 750. And the reason I went for for a 750 watt power supply is for 2 reasons. Well, 3. It's Corsair, so it's going to be good. It's their HX series, which is really good. It's not as good as the AX, but it's still good. It is 80 plus gold, and it's modular. So it's going to give you the ability to be able to run 2 760s, and like I said, this is a very expandable system. So you'll be able to get another 760 in there and do SLI with overclock and have plenty of power. And that's the reason that I went for that. So that's pretty much the build. Let me get me something to drink real quick. Alright, so that's the build. Like I do in all of my build videos, I have to give like an AMD counterpart to what I would build. Or something. If I had $1,000, what would I do? So if it's my $1,000, I would get an H87 board instead, and I wouldn't get an overclockable CPU. And just for that reason, it's just so you can cut the cost a little bit and maybe put a little bit more into a video card. If you but you'd have to cut a lot of costs though, at $1,000. So I guess if I did have to change anything about it, I don't know, it'd be rough to change anything really. This is a good system overall, well-rounded system. It just needs an SSD in my month. So that being said though, I wouldn't really change anything. This is kind of hard, because I'm having thoughts in my brain about what I would change. But if it's my $1,000, this is what I would get. But on the other side though, you can go AMD route, and you could get like a 6300, which would save you a lot. Actually, they're $139, I think, or $129. So you would save just over $100 just by switching CPUs alone. That's a lot of money to save. And The boards are cheaper too for AMD boards. You can get a good AMD board for like $100 instead of 140, which is what this one costs. So, I would definitely consider an AMD route. You can get 6300 for like 129, 119, whatever they are. Or you can get an 8320 for 159, and you wouldn't save as much. You'd save enough to get a 1 terabyte hard drive. Or to get better cooling, you could actually get like an H80 if you save that. Or if you wanted to do just the whole route about it, you could stick with a Hybrid 212. Get like an AMD 6300, a capable board, a 970 or a 990 FX board for around $100, and you just done saved $140, and you could get a 7970 or a 770. You might go over a little bit, but you'd still be right around $1,000, and that would be a good alternative. I guess it wouldn't have the horsepower of the i5 if you got a TX 6300 and FX 6300, but it'd be very well rounded, and you would definitely be able to play games, and that's what I'm mostly doing these builds for, is just gaming, straight gaming. I do video editing and stuff, and I know what I need, but some people like other things, so I'm just doing this as purely gaming, for the most gaming horsepower, to get the best frames and stuff, and best bang for the buck at 1920 by 1080. So that would be my AMD alternative to it. So it looks like there's about a minute left in the video, and I just want to thank everybody for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I don't care to answer your questions at all. I'll give you as much help as I can with all of the parts, and if you wanted different parts or something. So some people like NVIDIA, some people like AMD graphic cards, some people like Intel, some people like AMD. Some people might not want a gigabyte board, they might want something else. But I don't care. You can ask and I'll answer. And just thank everybody for watching this video, and peace out.